Hey, what's going on, guys? We had some technical problems, and we're figuring it out. And it is day 2 of the week of healing. And in a minute here, we are going to have my good friend Anna Gonzales join us. She should be on very shortly. And, she's awesome. She's a veteran. She runs a wellness center, and she's going to talk to you guys about some of her experiences, some of her knowledge, and what she has to add to the healing of veterans. So we're just waiting now, and it does say that she's getting added, so it should be any minute now. Really excited. This week we have literally like an entire week of really awesome people that are going to be joining us, some really awesome healers, people that work in a wide range of fields. From last night we had a really great discussion about yoga and meditation, and let's see here. So that, and today my friend Anna, like I said, she runs a wellness center. She's also a licensed massage therapist. She is trying here, guys, so just bear with me. And technology is crazy. Waiting.
Hey, there you are.
Oh, wow, Anna. All right.
Hey, man.
How you doing,
We
buddy?
made it.
Yeah, we made
Yay.
it.
This is great.
Listen, we're
Yeah.
soldiers. We get through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no shit.
On the spot correction.
Hey, man, this is really great that you're doing this. I was really I felt your frustration when that day was started last 2 weeks ago. I think you started when you had that frustration at the VA, and that just brought up some memories for me too, because you're not alone. Everybody has that moment. All the veterans have that moment at the VA where there's just, you get pissed off because you're not getting a solution. You're not even getting information you can do something with, right? So yeah, that was really, you set off some memories with that.
Yeah, well, I really
From my,
appreciate you being willing to do this, for sure.
yeah, man. That's why I do what I do now with the whole center, and just speaking and just working to have people be better enabled to take care of themselves, because that's something I had to do for myself when I got out. All I had was medications. I was overweight, medicated, and not going anywhere or getting any better until I started to ask questions and inform myself. And actually, what really did it for me was actually asking the doctors to step up and asking them how they can help me better, and asking them where I could learn more. And the VA it's such a big machine, right? It's a big machine, and it's meant to do some good things, and it's just still it gets lost because it's so big. And
Yeah.
what actually ended up happening for me was I started asking my practitioners that I would go see, is like, hey, would you do this for your own kid? Is this something you would have your own kid do? And that kind of got their attention. And that's how I started asking to create a relationship with them, so that way they could get to know who I was. Because, like I said, it's a big machine. There's a lot of us in there, different ages, different wars, different experiences. And I found out that once I started asking them and having them realize who I was, and that I was more than just a number, and that I really wanted to work with them to help me, that's when things changed when working with the VA. And after I got out of the military, I actually used my Voc rehab to go to school and get my master's. And so,
Nice.
and then I still had money left over. Yeah, I still had money left over, so I decided to use my the remaining for my massage license. And that's how I ended up, that's when as I was getting better, taking care of myself, working with the VA and asking them, is this something you would recommend? Is this something you would do? And that really got a lot of their attention. Um,
Yeah.
it almost irritated them. I think some of the doctors and practitioners at that time got pissed off because I was tapping into their conscious, and kind of making them realize, look up from their computer screen.
Yeah. Well, you were asking questions, right? You know what I mean? And
Right.
I think that's the way it's got to be. Like, you got to be willing to, like, investigate a little bit. Like, this is your life we're talking about. And, like, real quick, like, can you just tell everybody, like, I introduced you, but can you just, like, tell everybody who you are and, like, what you do and talk about your wellness center really quick? Because I think it's, like, really.
Gonzales, I am the CEO of West End Wellness in Sierra Vista. It's in Arizona. Those of you in the Army, there's a Army post out here. It's called Fort Huachuca, and Fort Huachuca, Arizona, and I actually did my AIT out here, so that's how I found this place. And I just came back when I got out, and I literally, when I got out of the military, I got my 30%. I was overweight. I was just had no direction, and just from someone who has been athletic and was able to do everything in the Army and then to have this point in my life, I couldn't do anything. So I started my journey of wellness and taking some responsibility and asking questions. And that led to me opening this center, which I have 3 veterans in here that are practitioners too. We have acupuncture, we have yoga, we have connected warrior yoga, I have a mental health counselor, we have a counselor for vets who want to get out of the military and don't know what to do when they grow up and they want to look for a new career. We have vets for that. We have we have 4 vets in here. Gosh, a retired CW. She also does emotional freedom technique, and we have light therapy, which is great for TBIs, which you see a lot of, unfortunately. And heck, you know what, Todd? We even have a tattoo artist. I mean, for me, that self-expression, and it's a little bit of everything that I like and that I've used in my journey. We have a Tai Chi, we have Chinese herbs,
Wow.
and I'm looking to grow more. And we're working on an osteopath, so we're working on natural, emotional, and holistic uh, choices. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
they're remedies or like that, but the thing is it's different for everybody. Depends on where you're at and where you're coming from at the moment right now. So with that, so I've created this center, and I just want to change the way we get active duty, we get retirees in here, we get veterans. I mean, it's I'm finding out I'm a safe place for them to come in and just share and say what's not working, what is working, and it's really humbling to actually have them come in. Thank God you're here, because I was giving up. I just, I mean, I've had my neighbor across the street, even, he's a Vietnam vet. He's since passed away, but there was a time when I would go over and check on him, and he actually had 3 plastic bags of prescriptions from the VA. And I kind of said, what the hell, man? Come on, Sam, what's going on, Roller? And he would just like, well, this is what they give me. And I don't ask them. And I'm like, I called the VA right there, and I said, I'm taking your ass right now. We're going in because this is wrong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he got straightened up, and it got down to just two prescriptions was all he needed. But he
Yeah.
traveled a lot, and they weren't tracking him, and he just was not participating or engaged in his care. So it was really interesting. But that's kind of
That's what
my
I want to
purpose.
talk about too, though. Like
Yeah,
what I like to say is like, like these things that we're talking about. Like I would never advise somebody like, hey, listen, don't take your medication. You know,
right,
like
right,
like these things are to add to, you taking your medication and to ultimately provide you a path to get off of the medication
right,
because it's not
right.
supposed to be permanent, right?
It shouldn't be. I mean, I don't take my high blood pressure pills anymore. I don't take cholesterol pills anymore. I'm off all medications right now. Now I just take supplements. I get acupuncture. I'm involved with yoga, and I get massage, of course, and do a lot. I've even taken some spiritual training, some shaman training. So drumming is a great way for me to just relax and kind of just get quiet and loud at the same time, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
that's just
Self-expression,
sound
right?
frequency. Right, yeah, and in emotional freedom, the tapping is technique is just surprisingly, this is a new one to me. So this is really that's a new one to me that I'm trying, and it's interesting how these things work. And I really kind of, for me, the way I look at it is a lot of these techniques and these modalities are true warrior style healing, right? If you look at the history of warriors, there was always a spiritual side to what they did, and preparation for fighting and just in training, right? And hey, Genevieve, that's a Marine
Hi,
Corps,
Genevieve.
Marine Corps. That's a Marine Corps vet there. And
Oh,
there's
all
here comes
right,
Tony.
Rock.
Yeah. So yeah, so my veteran friends are coming in. So there's a tech. There's something to doing these modalities and Tai Chi and these modalities tap into that warrior perspective that we have, right? And that was why we're so quiet sometimes, and why we have trouble reaching out. The thing is, it actually is the warrior's way is to take care of yourself in many ways, right? Take care of your team. You're part of the team. Right. You got it, Charlotte. You are
Let's
so
go,
right.
Charlotte.
Hey, Charlotte. So taking care of yourself is in being that leader and taking care of your team around you, your friends, especially fellow vets. We know we have trouble talking with civilians sometimes. It's just the truth, especially when we're hurting. And so to see other veterans like you reaching out and just talking about this is great. I know I spent some time here at the local VFW and reaching out. We have a group right, we have a group out here that does some things. I have lots of veterans as clients, and it's just an honor to be able to work with them, and then just really kind of like, hey man, gal, you got this. It's just you just got to learn how to talk and take care of yourself. We're not It's not something we're used to, um, and this is something. You have this service, you have this ability, and I really agree there's a true way to have modern medicine and some of these older medicines to work together. To have it all together, working together and tweaking and changing things is the way to go. When you take a mission, and you always have your rally point picked out, because just in case something goes wrong and you need to just figure things out again, right? And you're like, hey,
Yeah.
when you get lost or get confused, get to the rally point. We'll meet there, we'll catch up and
Yeah.
re-baseline the direction and the mission. And so
Yeah.
it's the same way for your healthcare. Um, I really encourage veterans to speak out, to say something when you're at the VA, and you don't have to be an asshole about it, but sometimes we have to, but it is we're worth it. I mean, we've done our time, we've done our who knows, we do some crazy ass shit that people sometimes just don't know what we've done. And when you tell them, they don't get it. And they're not ever going to because they've never experienced it. And yet, when you can reach out to your battle buddies and just say, hey, man, I don't know how to do this. I've gone with fellow veterans to their appointments just
Yeah.
because they just, I'm going to lose it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really encourage people to say, hey, I want to work with you. But, instead of having it fed to me and pushed down my throat, I really want to ask questions. I want to be informed. I want to
Yeah.
know what are my options because not all VA systems. I don't know where you're out in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's different for every VA building and location, really. I mean, here in Arizona and Phoenix, this is where we had, unfortunately, we had those, I think it was 10 to 15 vets that passed away while waiting for appointments, right? And that was 2 or 3 years ago. That's what caused a big uproar, rightly so, a while ago. And I can't remember each individual case, but I know some of them just didn't have anybody being an advocate for them.
Right.
And sometimes that's what we just reaching out to someone and asking, hey, how do I address this? Who do I talk to? And
Yeah.
getting help, being an advocate for your own health care, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes that means just, I know the VA now has to call me to go in and see them because
Yeah.
I'd stay
Yeah.
away.
Yeah,
Well,
well, I mean, I feel like
they
it's a
always
part
go,
of like a bigger, like almost conspiracy that like it just, there's just something in the way that it's like they're trained to prescribe you the medication first, and then like ask
right,
questions later, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that's what drives
right.
me crazy.
And well, yeah, because that when I first got there and they gave me the high blood pressure pills, then they gave me another prescription for my pain. And well, go figure, one was actually causing high blood pressure to go up. So I had to take the other one to take it down, and it just kept going full circle. So I just worked on addressing the pain, and then I worked on getting off my high blood pressure. But I worked with them, and I wouldn't say negotiated, but I asked them. I was like, hey, what would it take? And they're like, hey, eat better, lose weight, keep moving, and doing this
Yeah,
stuff. And I said, okay, I'll see you in 3 months. I'll have lost 15 pounds or something, and then I'm going to get off the pills, the blood pressure pills. And they were like, okay, whatever. And no, I mean, really, they were really kind of surprised that I actually did it. And
yeah,
it's a different mentality even between the generations of veterans, right? I mean, I run into some of the Vietnam and Korean vets, and they are almost conditioned to just take the pills and
yeah,
just take what's given to them and almost give up. And then I
yeah,
meet some of my, with the local, not the latest wars and that are coming back. I mean, still now, and they're more engaged and more informed. And I don't know, if it's just the way we were raised and just access to information now. And so it is interesting,
for sure.
yeah, how they interact. I mean, I don't know, I don't remember what your experience was, but it is typically here, take this, and don't question and walk out the door, pick it up, or it'll be mailed to you, right? And so I understand that, and I really, when I my experience, I really stopped them and it's like, hey, wait a sec, we need to have a conversation about this.
Yeah,
Why am I taking this? What is this going to do? What else is this going to cause? Am I going to have to take something else
yeah,
to combat the side effects from this one? And
yeah,
if that's the case, I'd rather just stick with what I got now and find a natural uh, modality. And it's interesting, and how people take healthcare now, especially with because we are, I'm going to say, there is a silver lining to have this healthcare available to us
Yeah.
after right
Well, I know
because with
I was desperate for a cure. Like I was desperate to feel better. I was in such a low place, you know what I mean, in my
right.
life, and I felt these ways that I had never felt before. That you get a doctor in front of you, you're like, okay, this guy's a doctor, you know, and he's telling you. I went into one appointment and I walked out with like 8 prescriptions, you know,
Shit.
yeah, and like so and like I was introduced to these holistic methods like not through the VA, and like
Right.
it's like in my mind it's like what do you think it is that is stopping these guys and girls, like what is the stigma that keeps them from like moving kind of out of these medications and more into like some natural methods of healing or holistic methods of healing, yoga, meditation, body work, massage therapy, acupuncture.
What, yeah, with some of the resistance, I believe is time and definitely always going to be time and money. Some of that is in there, right? And there's going to be access. I mean, where I'm at, we're in a rural area. It's there's only 45,000 people in this town. So, and I would say probably half of them are, I wouldn't say half, but I would say give it 15%, 15 to 20% are actually veterans and active duty. And then we have the retirees and veterans that just have stuck around. The resistance or I think it's some of that warrior mentality. It was like, hey man, just suck it up and drive on. And, and there's distrust. I think there's some distrust. And I understand there's some people out there in these modalities that are not authentic with their approach and really wanting to help people. So, and that's something I really strive for with my center is like I check everybody's backgrounds and we're doing here their education, their track records with healing and helping people. And so we're starting to get to be a source in the. Oh, there you go, Genevieve. And TRICARE doesn't cover it. They only want to
Like I
cover
said, part
two.
of a bigger conspiracy to me,
Right,
but
right. And that's my biggest beef for civilians. And it's just, I was getting ready to say ACA healthcare is the biggest, is turned on actual people. Not saying insurance is bad. It's just it can be better. The thing is, we and a lot of people rely on insurance a little too much. I think there's too much dependency on it for it to
yeah,
cover everything. I think the both government and customers of insurance companies are being controlled heavily by insurance companies, and have got this mentality that insurance companies know what's best for you, and of course they've got there's money behind that conversation, and so the what I just encourage a lot of people to say, I know time and money is a resource that is limited at different levels for everybody at times in their lives. And I always tell them, but your health should never be limited by that. You can
yeah,
do something no matter where you're at with time and money. And you just
yeah,
got to have that mentality and keep searching what works. I mean, I've tried some things that well, that didn't work. And I,
yeah,
just didn't stick with it long. But the thing is, that's what I work for is I look to a lot of my clients come up to me and will say, hey, what about this? What about that? And they give me things to research for them and try for them. And all the traveling I've done and meeting people, I've really found some modalities that are making a difference and that will work. And there's some modalities I refer for some, and there's some modalities that I go, oh, that's not for you. You need to try this one instead.
yeah,
Just because there's some personal element to it that needs to be recognized. And
yeah,
really, when it comes to your health, and like Todd, you're really tapped into yourself and what's going on. I mean, the fact that you found yourself in a space that you needed and realized and went to go ask for help is a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of guys and gals that will do that. They would
Well, it's
rather
about
just like
getting
keep
vulnerable. You know
suffering.
what I mean? Like you have to get vulnerable in this healing process, and that's hard for a lot of people to do. You
Right,
know?
right, right. And so when you posted that, I just was like, yes, because that was just you got a lot of people listening to you, Todd, and that and that's just I guarantee you, I know your message, that video from that day helped somebody. I know it. And that's where I'm just so I applaud you on that. So thanks for doing that. I really that's why when you ask for somebody to talk, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll talk. I'll talk all day out here. Sometimes even when
Yeah,
nobody's listening, right? Because someone's going to
yeah,
catch it eventually. Someone's going to
for
catch it
sure.
eventually. So
Yeah, and if it
what
helps
you
one
did that
person,
day
it's
was
worth it.
right. What you did that day was awesome, and it just takes a few of us to stand out and just hey, I asked for help. I got this. I'm moving on. And even then, I still have some conditions that with the knees and the joints and all that jazz that I still have
Yeah.
to work through and manage. And so um, it's just interesting what people will tolerate. And
Hmm.
that's something I just with veterans, when you're in pain, I don't care if it's emotional, spiritual, physical, you got to stop and ask for you active duty even. You've got to stop and ask for help and reach out because we're in this together and it's a team. Like Genevieve said, it's you can't leave anybody behind. You don't
Hmm.
want there's no reason why someone should be left out um, for this and for us to reach out and take care of each other is important. And I know there's actually a lot of civilians that are doing a lot too. I actually had a friend, Nora Richardson. She actually opened a Fisher House. Her and her friends opened a Fisher House. Fisher houses are they're through the VA and they're actually kind of like they're houses where veterans and their families can go and stay while they're getting treatment for extreme cases, right? So
Oh,
this was
nice.
in, yeah, it was in North Carolina, and I had no idea she was doing this until she actually posted
Hmm.
the grand opening of this house. So that is something I was really impressed. So there's a lot. I just want veterans to understand there's people that really do care about you. There's people that are doing things, and you as a veteran, all you guys and gals out there need to like step up, raise your hand, tap someone on the shoulder, and just say, "Tell us your story, and let us figure it out." Like Todd
Yeah.
knows a lot of people. That's why he's doing this week. He's reaching out to a lot of people and actually a lot of the other modalities. Like Angela gave some great advice yesterday, and those things are something you can do by yourself or you can join in a group.
For sure.
Another resource too. So Fisher House is something the VA has, not in every location, but in some of the big cities where you can bring your family or you can stay if you can't afford a hotel for in and out care that goes a little longer than normal. Uh,
Yeah.
Connected Warriors is another organization. They do yoga. Actually, we have Connected Warriors here. Yoga, no charge for veterans and their
Nice.
families and active duty. I actually connected someone with one of my buddies. She was in Turkey and she was going crazy out there. She was, I just wish we could do yoga. And so I reached out to one gal, and 4 connections later, we managed to send them 10 yoga mats and got them on Skype to do yoga out in Turkey.
Nice. Yeah.
It was,
Wow.
if she was at NCOIC, she's like, I just going crazy. I'm like, hey, let's get you some mats, some yoga
Yeah.
bricks, and
Yeah.
some yoga, and
And
and you can get certified in lead yoga. And she's like,
yeah.
what? And 4 calls later, we've got this somehow. I don't know everybody that was in the chain, but we got that shit out there, and
Yeah.
she sent me a picture. Hey, we're doing yoga, and I'm like, that's,
This is
and you
why
can
I
see,
encourage veterans to step up and speak out and like we are the ones that need to help each other. Like there is like
right,
there's just like a ferocity and like a way that we go about things and we get shit done. you know, and we stand for each other. And like, you know, so like what is
Right.
the
I got
most
you, brother.
what is like the thing that like vets are the most responsive to like at your center? What is like the thing that stands out the most?
The most responsive, I would say, um, and I would say is that they find me because they choose me because I'm a vet. You know, and it's like it's just that it's just oh they are able to that safety and trust factor is it opens up and it just opens up and they come in and I usually do consults. So massage is a good start. A lot of them start with massage, and then I can from there I can direct them to other modalities and say, hey, you should try. You know, this is going to be a really good complement to what's going on, and you can like LED light therapy. Light therapy is I would have to say at first I was really wary of that, but man, I've experienced it and I'm seeing the results
I've never heard
from.
of it. Can you kind of talk? Can you kind of explain to me like what that is quickly? Because I've never heard of it.
Well, yeah, it's quite interesting. The LED light therapy, what it does is it's actually little lights in a foam pad that you can wrap around the head or a joint in the knee. I use it on my knees a lot. Um, and the light has a frequency that can penetrate the layers of skin. And what that does is it excites the cells inside you, inside your joint or wherever the pain is. And if they're stagnant, usually what's happening is because they're stagnant. And what that does, the light coming in gets these cells to start moving. So now you have an exchange of cellular waste and then new blood comes in. So that's healing, reducing inflammation, and breaks down scar tissue. It because it's actually exchanging the dead cells that sit there and introducing new cells. You can actually start to slowly reverse and heal. And there's also so it's light therapy, and then you can add some heat or ice to it.
Yeah,
Man, and if you're someone who doesn't like to be touched, because that's a real thing,
yeah, for
this is a
sure.
great, this is a great modality for it. So I'll post some these links and stuff inside when we
Yeah,
finish talking and post in
yeah.
there on the replay. But um, really, if any of your folks fans, if you're watching this and you really want just to talk and get a consult or ask, I mean, I'm not a doctor, please don't, I'm not giving medical advice, so don't. But the thing is, sometimes you just need to talk and hear it out, and someone else's point of view can bring some new information to your healthcare, right? Um,
Yeah.
so if any of you guys want to do that, send me a private message, and I will definitely set up a time and we'll just talk. Um, I I deal with a lot of cases that in my community that nobody wants to take on just because they're challenging. I work with hospice. I work with um, vets that have given up on the VA, and I work with my oldest client is in her 90s, and she was a in the Women's Army Corps, as we know as the WAC. So she
Oh
was in
wow,
World War II. So she's
man.
a riot, man. I mean, I really get excited when I work with veterans, and she's like the oldest veteran I've worked with, and she's got some stories about
Yeah,
World War II, and she's a tough cookie.
yeah. And that's what makes you so great, Anna. You know what I mean? Like you really do. You do great stuff, and like you're a great person, and your energy's great, and like you're really dedicated to just seeing through like the healing of people. You know,
Well,
and
like you said, veterans, we get shit done. The thing is, if we're not feeling good, we don't get it done well, right? But man, when we start getting better and we start feeling good, get out of the way. We're gonna get shit
exactly,
done. We're no
exactly.
excuses. We're solution driven, and that's the biggest puzzle is like soldiers, airmen, in the Navy, Coast Guard, Air, and Marines, we're so solution driven. I can't understand why that doesn't apply to our own healthcare. That really puzzles me. So I challenge everybody that is hiding out there and suffering,
Mm-hmm.
and wake that up in yourself for your own healthcare. Because once you get that taken out of the way and you start doing what you know how to do for yourself, you can go back to doing it for others again. So that's something I'm really, for me, is like, that's why I take care of myself, so that way I can have the center. We have hundreds of people a week come in here in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere, Arizona, so I
Yeah.
really want to expand this mentality to have veterans, active duty, and their families stay solution driven. Don't give it up. Don't give up. There's something out there you haven't tried, or you haven't. It's not always Western medicine. Sometimes it's a combination of both. And that right there, is a bridge to if you don't take any at all. And there's all kinds of illnesses and challenges with health, whether it's mental illness, TBIs, cancer. There's just so much that if you take on with solution driven, you can really start to make some changes for yourself and your family around you. So, um, Todd, thanks for bringing this up. This is such a
What's the one thing,
almost, it's not
Anna?
taboo.
What's the one thing? If before we wrap it up, what is the one thing? If somebody's out here right now, if they're watching this, or if they see this, or and a veteran, or just somebody that suffers from trauma, and they're having a bad day, they're having a rough time. What's like something they could do right now to kind of just help bring themselves back into the moment?
Help bring yourself back into the moment. Um, I would say back for me was remembering I have a bigger purpose to reach out and know that this was just temporary. The pain, that moment, it's temporary. And there's help out there, and I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm a warrior. You're a
Yeah.
warrior, and you got to keep fighting. You got to reach out. Um, you really don't ever take a battle on by yourself, and there's no reason why you should. There's
Yeah.
too much. There's too many of us, and if we really paid attention, we could see that there's someone right next to us that we can lean on. So, um, just remember, I'm just going to invite everybody, reach out. There's someone near you who really can help you for the moment and get you through and get you on a bigger, better path, because we've got so many skills, man. It's a shame for us not to be well, and it's a shame for us not to be impacting our communities around us and ourselves, our little group, our private group of veterans. So yeah, just keep reaching out, stay in touch, and we care about you. Todd is like, thanks, Todd, for doing this. I hope you keep doing this. I'm going to bring you out to Arizona sometime. I'm
Yeah.
hoping in 2018 to bring you out, introduce you to the crowd out here.
Let's do it.
I think you've got,
Okay.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm already looking at my calendar, so I got to tell you when you're coming.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We got
Let's
to
do it.
figure that out. But I think you're going to be a great force, and I got some big plans for the veterans and the community around here, and pretty much the nation. And hopefully, I could take it to a bigger
Yeah.
stage and a bigger awareness. Is really, it's not necessarily stage, just in that.
Oh.
That's something I want. Oh, sorry, back. That I want to make sure that people know that you could reach out, and it's not always just a doctor. That if you just start with reaching with your battle buddies, your friends, someone in your community, and then we can get some better direction and better answers to what you need right now. Because I was listening to something the other day. The miracles happen in the unknown. right? If you're feeling depressed and just ready to give up, you just haven't looked in the unknown yet. That's where the magic is at. And so sometimes we just need someone else to help guide us through that. And that's what I want to be for other people. And I reach out to other people too for that, for me. Um, so I'm always learning and looking for options. So everybody out there, pay attention, take care of yourself, get some awareness with your healthcare, and keep watching Todd.
Yeah, keep doing that for sure.
Yeah.
So, so thank you so much, Anna. We're gonna post your stuff like in the comments, like, you know,
Yeah.
like the link for your wellness center and your information. And thank you so much for doing this. Like, I really truly appreciate it.
Thanks, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you. I can't wait till tomorrow. Who's your guest tomorrow?
Tomorrow, my guest is Debbie Sodergren from
Yes.
Red Elephant, and she's
Yes.
going to talk about energy medicine. So it's going to be awesome.
Oh, awesome. You guys pay attention to that. That's just something that's real. And believe me, as veterans, we have more energy than we realize.
Hmm. For sure.
I'm
It's just
excited.
waiting to get used for something good. So
All right, my man. Thanks again. Have a good one.
you got it. Bye, Anna.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that was day 2 of the week of healing this week, and we're just having conversations, and we're bringing awareness to a lot of topics out there that don't really get the attention that they need. And my focus is to really bring the light to these people who they're not doctors, but they're healers, and they do a lot to heal people, and they do a lot to help people. And it's just something that I really care about, and I care about the well-being and the health of veterans, all over the nation, and for just people in general. And I really, really, really think that, along with, if you're on medication, it's great, but along with taking these medications, if you can incorporate, some of these holistic methods of healing, and you can develop a regimen for yourself, and it's just like medicine. It's just like anything. If you do it enough and you believe in it, then it's so. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And thank you for watching. We had some technical problems in the beginning. I wasn't really too sure what that was about, like bad connection or something. But we pulled it together. We had a great conversation. Tomorrow night, I'm going to have another great guest on, and she's amazing. And we're going to talk about some more cool stuff, and we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep the momentum going. And, man, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day. It's about almost 2 o'clock, so take care, guys, and God bless.